Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Paws in Pursuit podcast with your host Summer Clark. So this week we have another very exciting guest. I'm going to be speaking to Sarah Fenby. We're going to be talking all about Paragility and the whole world of that, and also IMCA PAWC. So if any of you don't know what that stands for, it's the International Mix and Breed Agility Championships, or Agility World Championships. And then /PAWC is Paragility World Championships, that's it. So that is obviously the event. I've done it twice. I did it in 2018 and 2019 in the UK and Spain. So it mixes the IMCA competition with the PAWC competition from each country. And obviously PAWC is the Paras, which Sarah is a member of and has competed for several years at this event. And she did amazing. She got a bronze medal this year, and she also got a silver medal last time she went, I think last year. So I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation. I'm looking forward to getting into it. But before we do that, I'm going to give you my weekly, what's the word? I was about to say recap and roundup in the same word. Round cap. Re-up. You know what I mean? Now, I would just like to take a minute to introduce you guys to the podcast sponsor, Huel. So here I have one of the ready to drink Huel meals, the berry flavour. Huel ready to drink is a meal in a bottle with over 20 grams of protein. It really is the perfect meal for when you're on the go. You don't need to sacrifice convenience or nutrition, you can have both with ready to drink. Each serving has 26 vitamins and minerals. This means every bottle of ready to drink has 175 health benefits. It is made from natural ingredients such as coconut, sunflower seeds, tapioca, pea protein, flax seeds and hemp seed protein. Every meal is vegan and it has no gluten, no palm oil, no GMO, no lactose and no animal products whatsoever. It comes in 8 delicious flavours including iced coffee caramel and strawberries and cream, as well as the classics like vanilla, chocolate and banana. It is absolutely delicious and just tastes like a milkshake. It is widely sold in supermarkets, petrol stations and corner shops around the UK, and it can be conveniently purchased online. I found out about Huel because I was looking for a product that would give me all the nutrients that I need while travelling to events and staying over at competitions and training events. So when it's time to refuel and have a meal, I can just drink a ready to drink Huel product and get all my nutrients quickly, easily and without cooking. It's perfect when I don't have the time or the facilities to cook. For example, when I'm camping at a competition, I'm going to be drinking at least one a day at KCI and Dogs in Need. If you're super busy just like me, then you really don't want to miss out. You can easily and conveniently shop ready to drink from Huel at the link uk.huel.com/paws. I hugely appreciate anyone and everyone that uses my link, as it helps keep this podcast running, and every sale through that link helps keep my podcast going. Buying through my link also gets you a free t-shirt which will be auto applied at the checkout. If you subscribe to a Huel order, you can save 10%. You can choose how often your subscription comes, for example every 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, etc. And these are super easy to manage on the website and you can edit whenever you like. uk.huel.com/paws. To be honest, I don't really have much for the last week. I only recorded the last episode a few days ago. So yeah, the weekly recaps are a bit bizarre because sometimes I'll film a podcast one day and then the week after, the episode for the week after, the day after, if that makes any sense to you. So I don't actually have anything new. Just, you know, usual week at work, at my new job from home, getting used to that, and I absolutely still love it. Still can't believe I get to do that as my job. It is my dream job. Super cool there. And also I have a training day with Shannon Spring for tomorrow with Arrow, which is really exciting, and obviously you can see that on all of my socials when it goes up. And I'm going to try and get some videos as usual, probably take my tripod actually, and set it up if possible. So that'll be really cool. I haven't done a training day with a trainer in forever. That's at Lucy, so I'm really excited for that. I also get a tattoo tomorrow. I'm going to keep it a surprise, and again, I'll post that. You'll probably have seen it by now. By the time this goes up, you will have done. And you'll have seen the Shannon video. So yeah, you'll have seen everything that's happened, but that's what's coming up. But nothing in particular has really happened for the past week, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And without further ado, let's get straight into the conversation with Sarah. For anyone that doesn't know who you are, do you want to just give a little brief introduction about yourself, your dogs, your agility, stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. I'm Sarah Fenby and I'm a 2-time Paragility World Championship medalist with 2 different dogs. my original agility Sherlock Squintly Karma, my current agility Sherlock Squintly Gambler, and also I've just brought out my young Malinois 7.
Amazing. So how did you find out about Paragility then?
I think it was through Agility Net, probably. I think I saw something on Facebook online, something somewhere.
Yeah,
and
most things come from Agility Net. They stem from it somehow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, there's not many other big agility resources.
No, that's it.
I think it was there because I didn't know anybody at the time that competed in on the Paragility team. So it must have come from a universal source of some point. So
potentially
probably
Facebook, you never know.
Yeah. And it was 2018 and the championships were actually being held in the UK.
Yep, that was my first year on it.
Yeah, of course. Read up all about the details and the sort of criteria and bits and bobs and thought, you know what, I think I'm actually eligible for that. So got in touch with Linda Croxford, the team manager, about what to do next and application forms and things. And I was literally just about a week outside of the deadline
for the following
for submitting paperwork. So I had to wait until 2019 to submit everything. And then I went to Spain in 2019 as my first year on the team.
Amazing. I was there too, you see.
Yeah.
That was a good year, that was. I did enjoy that year.
That was fun. It was fun.
Long, but fun. So how long did it take you to adjust to the shift in your handling style post-surgery? So going from sort of running normally to not?
Well, this is a bit of a red herring question, actually. So I've never been able to run normally as such. I tried in the beginning because I didn't know there was any other way. But essentially, I came to agility after having my leg rebuilt. I had several hobbies before. I rode motorbikes, I rode horses, and I was a drummer in a band. And then I had cancer in my leg and all of that surgery that went on with the rebuild for that. And it made those hobbies really, really difficult.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine.
I kind of thought, well, I need a new hobby. And I got my original Sholo, my first hairless boy. His ears didn't go up. They're meant to have prick ears like Karma and Daisy have got, but his were just kind of like donkey ears.
Oh, I thought you were going to say one was up and one was down.
No, they were both they were a bit out to the side and they were tipped.
Oh, bless him.
So he would have been laughed out of the show ring, which was a shame because he was a nice boy. But he got to sort of 18 months old and I thought, he needs a job.
Yeah.
I do believe that every dog should have a job.
Absolutely. Especially the working ones.
Yeah, I mean, Sholos aren't, but I do think they should have something to do.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Aaron without agility. You wouldn't want to be with him. You wouldn't want to live with him, basically.
No. Take a gun dog out of working gun dogness and don't give them anything else and you're in trouble. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think it's the same for every dog, really. Too much energy.
Yeah, so I started with him and then Karma came along and she was a rescue. So I used agility to get her out of her shell a little bit. So I tried to waddle along, but I wasn't very good at it. And then obviously started doing more and more distance. And with Gambler, I tried to help him out as a puppy. And I did try and shuffle around a few places and try and get to places and break a jog. But ultimately it didn't work. It's not sustainable. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very fast.
Kind of wasting energy doing that.
Contrary to how I feel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So sometimes I get a bit of a run on and I'm like, oh my God, I'm really fast.
Yeah, I'm going.
And then I see the video.
Yeah, that makes... it always looks worse on the video though, doesn't it? Like I watch a video back and I'm like, I felt like I was going like Mo Farah and I'm just not.
Absolutely. Do you know, I think I am Mo Farah sometimes.
Yeah, it feels like
only for about 5 or 6 strides, but you get me at Dog Sports Derby on that nice AstroTurf and I can sprint.
You bounce, don't you?
Yeah.
I think my mum said that once actually when she ran in to pick up a pole. Oh, you bounce over this stuff. It's like a cushion.
It is. And then I watched the video and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere at all. But hey ho. So Gambler didn't really have to adjust as such. I kind of relaxed trying to run with him because, as I say, it was just I wasn't winning.
Do you think he noticed you tried to relax with it, like running?
No, I think he was glad that I got out of his way.
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has got a good turn of speed, but he likes to be clever with his runs. That's when he
Yeah.
comes into his own.
Yeah.
So I
He is
think
very
he's
clever how he thinks for
happier.
himself.
Yeah, and yeah, that throws me sometimes, but I think he enjoys being clever.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes
So
sense.
the further I am out of his way, the happier he is.
Yeah. But I've said this before with Arrow, like, sometimes I think I'd be better being out of his way, because, like, I've often got in his way, because he's so fast. And yes, I'm fast, but I'm not as fast as he is. So
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
I've caused him to knock a pole or something. I'm thinking, if I just stood back and let him do it, then he probably would have been fine, but...
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even just being, so I'm very rarely on my dog's line as such.
Yeah.
You know, we don't really do blinds and things. Or if I do, they're probably sort of 10, 12 meters away.
Yeah.
But just being out of his, almost out of his mind sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I ask him to weave, all he's got is the weaves to focus on.
Yeah.
He's not got to worry about if I'm flapping my arms at the side of him
Yeah,
or
that's true.
falling over or doing any
can
of
just
that.
think
It's
about his
just
job.
him and the weaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense. Bless him. He's such a good boy. So
Yes.
how did... Oh, yeah, so we've already covered that question as well. So the first one was how long did it take you to adjust, and then the second was how did Gambler respond to the change? But neither of you really had to, I suppose.
Yeah, kind of. It took me a while to get my head around the fact that you can do distance. If that makes sense.
True. Yeah.
Most trainers will try, and the amount of times I've been told, just run faster, Sarah. You can make that blind.
Yeah.
And actually, A, I can't, and B, like, it's a near-death experience
Yeah.
every time I try.
Yeah.
So adjusting to me being able to say, actually, can I try it another way?
Yeah. Lucy
That
likes
did
saying
take
that,
a
doesn't
few
she?
years.
You can make it.
Yeah, but again, I mean, Lucy is fab.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, okay, how do you want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do it that way. Then we'll tweak it this way, and then we'll do that.
Different handling options
this
is perfect to practice.
Yeah, this is going to sound really awful, but there's some trainers that I've trained with that don't have that ability. They're like, but we're doing a blind here.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Doesn't. So it's taken a few years for me to get the confidence to say, actually,
I want to do it like this.
Yeah. Or can you help me do it this way?
Yeah, and often you know what you think will work and not just from experience running him. Do you get what I mean? In the past, so you kind of have that inclination of, I think you'd do well with doing it this way, or, you know, like when you walk in a course and you need to stick to your gut because you generally know your dog and yourself, don't you, more than anyone else? But...
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't really want my legs being taken out, especially by 7, just to prove a point that I can't do a blind.
Not worth it. Especially after like a dog walk or something. I still hate doing blinds, and I actually leg it, and I still hate it. Like, too scary. So this was the extra question, and it was not really about Paragility, but just about Gambler. So someone said that they really love Gambler, and they would like to know his breed, age, and how you got him.
So Gambler is a Sholowitz Squintly. Yes, that wasn't a glitch on that yet. Sholowitz Squintly. That's a Mexican hairless, but obviously he isn't hairless, which is why they're not really called Mexican hairless. They're called Sholowitz Squintly.
Okay.
But admittedly, it's very hard to pronounce, and some of them are hairless. So Mexican hairless.
I can't imagine Gambler hairless, actually.
Yeah, well, he'd look just like his baby sister that I've got. Well, his big sister that's half the size of him.
Yeah, true. I was going to say he's a big boy.
Yeah. And he was bred by a friend of mine. His mum was imported from Mexico, and his dad was imported from Russia.
Oh, wow.
And he was destined for somebody else, and then the universe got involved, and he found his way to me. So he was actually gifted to me.
Proper fate then, that.
Yeah, one of the 2 best presents that I've ever received.
What's the other one?
7.
Of course.
Yeah, 7.
Oh, both
7
of them were
was
presents.
Yeah, 7 was my wedding present from my maid of honour.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. I hope if I ever get married, someone gets me a dog as my wedding present. That'd be great.
Just drop some big hints.
Yeah.
Really big hints.
Be like, I kind of want to try this breed.
Yeah.
Just like a few weeks before. So, talking of 7 then, in what way is 7 different to handle than Gambler? And then the next question's in what way is she different to train than Gambler? So we'll kind of merge the two. So, you know, do handling and then kind of like away from the course, actually like training her to do all the skills. How are they different?
Yeah, so a little bit of background. The Xolos are 3,500 years old
Wow.
from Mexico. They date back to the Aztecs and the Toltecs. And their job was to guide your soul through the 10 levels of the underworld.
Oh, God.
I know. And yeah, they were, if you died, they were sacrificed so that they could then go with you and do that.
Oh,
So basically, they spent their entire life waiting for you to die.
Oh, nice.
That was their only job. And in the meantime, they were worshipped. They were sacred. They were, by contrast, Seven is a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah, on the other end of the spectrum.
Who don't sit about waiting for you to die.
Absolutely not.
They hatch a plan of how to kill you.
Yeah, quite the opposite.
So mentality-wise, Gambler's very laid back. His breed doesn't really come with the work ethic app installed.
Yes.
Or if it is, it's definitely not turned up to 10.
Yeah.
Whereas by contrast, 7 is turned all the way up to 11 all the time.
Probably 100.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're very, very different to run. I have to kind of put Gambler onto the right path, give him the right cues, and just keep him moving on and just keep kind of fueling him as we go around the course. 7, I have to point her at the bit I wanted to take and let the handbrake off. And then just hang on.
For dear life.
We're in it. Yeah, hang on for dear life. We're in it for the ride.
Yeah.
Training-wise, however, it's the other way around. So Gambler doesn't really like to fail too much.
Yeah. Totally get that with Arrow.
Yeah, he can get a bit sensitive and a little bit silly, and you've got to let him know what's in it for him all the time.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's like, why? Why should I bother?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why?
That's fair enough, actually.
Wait for you to die.
That. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
My other jobs are way easier.
Exactly. And the best bit is, I mean, most Xolos have got a lifespan of sort of 10, 15 years. Most humans far exceed that. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They don't even have to do any work in their entire life.
So they're made for a life of luxury. I love that. I want to be one.
Exactly. Yeah. So Sebi, by contrast, in fact, a little bit of failure is good for her if she doesn't get something quite right, and then she does and you can jackpot reward it. That's really great for her.
Yeah.
Whereas Gambler's like, look, I tried, give me the sausage.
Yeah, he gets frustrated, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does, yeah. And of course, it is always my fault. Whereas Sebi's sometimes a little bit like, well, I was going a bit fast, wasn't I?
I'll do it again.
Yeah, my ears weren't working or whatever. Whereas with Gambler, it's like, no, I did everything perfectly. It was you that was wrong.
That is Ethel to it. Like, Ethel's like that, but not in the, like, Arrow hates to fail in the sense that he shuts down and thinks, oh, sorry, I did it wrong. Whereas Ethel, she just shouts back at you. She's like, no, I definitely did not jump that contact. Why would you even bother putting me back on?
Absolutely.
I kind of respect the attitude, to be fair, but in the moment, it's annoying.
Yeah, it is. It's very annoying in the moment. But I think this is the first time I've had 2 dogs competing sort of at Karma was looking heavily towards retirement when Gambler came through. So this is the first time I've kind of got 2 competing dogs. And
it's so hard to switch.
It's challenging. Yeah, it is, but it's really good fun in the same sense. I like being challenged as a handler to keep changing things and keep finding the right answers for them. And
I think it makes you better as a handler.
Good.
Yeah,
definitely. I do. Yeah, completely agree.
If you know how to handle 2 opposite dogs, then you can handle any dog, really, can't you?
Yeah.
Or you'd like to think so.
And if you can switch from one to the other in a nanosecond.
Yeah, especially when it's the same course. When it gets to the same course, that's when it's really hard. But at the same time, remembering multiple courses is also hard. So
it's also really hard. Yeah.
No,
when Sebi first came out, they were in the same grades. Gambler was stuck in grade 2 for like 2 years. It was mental.
Oh, bless him.
So I'd walk a course for G, and then I'd have to rewalk it for 7.
Yeah. I'm in Gambler headspace now. Oh, no, now I'm in 7 headspace.
Yeah, and I did this for a couple of months. And then it was probably a steeplechase or a health skelter or something. Or it might even have been a jumping course, actually. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to push her. I'm going to handle her like she is Gambler. and just see if she can do it. Say babying her just because we're at a show.
Yeah.
And she flew round. So I was like, oh, well, that's it. I handle them the same now, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's just about knowing their little quirks. We'll steady try and get in the tunnel, and do I need to stay away from G's weave entry a little bit more?
That's interesting, actually.
They're...
That's something that I've recently started doing with the arrow, is kind of thinking, oh, should I pretend it's just training? Because often I'll go for like safer routes or baby them. And then you actually run them like at training, you're like, oh, they've got like a whole new gear. It's quite funny.
Yeah, it's like if you get E'd at number 2, the rest of the course is phenomenal.
Always. Or the first pole comes down and that's it. You're like, oh, go on then.
That's it. Yeah.
Always the case. So this is probably my favourite question. Would you ever get a small dog, and do you think the difficulty of distance handling differs between sizes? So obviously people probably think of you as you and your big dogs, but would you get a small?
I've got to be really careful because my husband's home, but...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I would. Not for, like, ages
yet. But in the future,
worry. We're not,
in the future.
In the future, like 10 years or something.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely would. I don't know if it... I don't know what I'd have, though. Maybe a Border Terrier.
Good
maybe
choice.
A Pap. Maybe a Poodle. I don't know.
Just a dog.
But, yeah, I work with some cracking small dogs that do full distance. Absolutely. And by full distance, I mean... the handlers don't break into a run at all. They do full courses and big, fill an outdoor menage size courses just by walking around. And they're phenomenal. And that's true. I know a few border paps are a bit of a thing at the minute, but paps and even cavaliers and all sorts, poodles. So I think it's harder with a toy dog because they haven't got the natural drive.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That some of the mediums and intermediates and larges have. Collie spaniels and breeds like that, and Malleys, they're always going to want to run.
Yeah, definitely, full pelt.
Which makes life easier. If they want to sit on your knee, then obviously getting them over 2 fences is harder, let alone over 20. But yeah, absolutely, distance is doable for anybody, any dog, any size, any person.
So that's really the only difficult part of it then, and again, it's not really a size thing. It's just if the dog wants to drive on, mainly that is dependent on how difficult distance handling is.
Yeah, that's it. It's the mentality. I mean, you could get a Mallee with no drive, and it would be harder to teach distance than a Papillon that's got loads of drive. So, the other thing the larges do have to their advantage is obviously if you're sending to a tunnel the other end of the ring, that might be 20 strides for a big dog, or it might be 70 strides for a little dog. So
that is very
a lot
true.
Of commitment for them to keep going.
That is true. That's interesting you said about cavaliers. I think I've seen one cavalier in agility, and that was a while ago. But it's not. I don't usually see them.
Yeah, I know a few. Okay. There's one lady that trains with me sometimes. That's got a couple and they're fab, really fab.
Yeah, I think I've seen one lady where maybe it might be the same one at a show or something, but I think I've seen one and she has a few and they're really good, so it might be the same person, but just shows any breed can do it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And who are we talking about? Faith with her little, oh god, I'm going to get the breed wrong. That's it,
Italian
Always going to call them Spits, but
I'll call them Spits.
But yeah, no, she's amazing. And then obviously Graham, who did really well at IMCA with his little schnauzer. Two really tiny dogs.
But 0.3 of a second.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter.
Not that I'm bitter about that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because UK on the podium twice in one competition is not competition, in one course is pretty phenomenal.
In one section. Yeah, one section.
That is insane. But we'll get on to IMCA next, I suppose. But yeah, plenty of great small distance handling dogs there. So on to IMCA then. How does it feel to be an IMCA PAWC bronze medalist and obviously silver medalist as well? From previous years. From previous years.
Fab. I don't know this. Oh, this is going to sound really terrible, but because I medalled in Spain, I kind of got this feeling of I can do this. It's not unachievable.
Yeah, no, I know what you
when
mean.
we went out to Italy and Gambler was 3, a hothead. Obviously I hadn't got my comfy slippers that was Karma. She'd retired. And I'd still got this sense of, but it's not impossible. We can do this.
Yeah,
and then
I know what you mean.
We didn't have any results at all. And I was really disappointed.
Yeah, it's like if you do it once, you think, easy, I can do it again.
Yeah, I can just keep
but then
doing
you
it,
forget
keep
that
doing
it's
it, and
actually
keep getting
it was
better.
quite hard in the first place. Yeah, every time.
So this year going out, obviously, Gambler's a year older and he's already had a year's experience on the team.
True.
Seven, I got no expectations. She was just there for the experience and to have a good positive time in the ring.
That is a perfect experience for a young dog. Like, unbeatable. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Crazy.
Yeah. And then as it happened, I was really unfit when we went out this year. So I hadn't really, whilst I was hopeful that Gambler would improve on last year's no results,
Yeah.
I wasn't really that hopeful, even though I knew we could do it. So when we did do it, I was just so thrilled.
And I suppose going into it with like a bit less prep as well is never, you're never going to go in expecting too much.
Would be a safe thing to say.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was literally the worst prep ever.
But considering, look what happened.
Yeah. But now that's just made it worse for next year. So
yeah, because now you're kind of like, oh, I can literally medal with no prep.
Exactly, yeah, providing that I'm not like 4 weeks post lung tumour surgery and my dog isn't less than 2 years old and, all these chaotic things that we had this year.
The odds are against you and you still beat them.
Yeah, I think I could come back like with 2 golds, 1 for each dog next year.
Yeah, I believe that. I fully believe that.
Yeah, let's not have this conversation in a year's time and say, Sarah,
no
when you say...
Yeah. Podcast part 2.
Yeah.
So how many years have you represented Team UK at IMCA PAWC? So 2018 was your first year, wasn't it?
No, 2018.
Oh, no, 2019.
I was just a little bit late. I missed the
that
deadline. Yeah, 2019 in Spain. And then 20 and 21, it was cancelled because of the old spicy virus. Yeah.
Nice.
And then Italy last year and the Netherlands this year. So 3 out of the 5 years.
But we'll say you probably would have got on the other 5 years too. We'll blame COVID.
Yeah, I'd have been world champion or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
3 years though, good substantial amount of time to get used to it as well, I suppose, for coming up years. So what is your favourite thing about the event? And there are so many things from the 2 years I did that I think is amazing about it. But for you, what is the best part?
Well, I think I'm supposed to say Charlotte Baker's jokes at this point.
Go on.
Anybody that watched our unofficial live stream on our Facebook group will know exactly what I mean. I mean, when you hear the same knock knock or why did the chicken cross the road joke for the 17th time and it's still told wrong, it just gets funnier and funnier and funnier.
That's brilliant.
But actually, that is the truth. The team is the best thing about it. The atmosphere is incredible. Watching the other countries, and I am a para competitor. I'm smack bang in the middle of the field. I'm in Group 4 out of the different para classifications. So I'm like the walking wounded, if you like. Can run a little bit, but not like you do.
The middle ground.
And the middle ground, yeah. And when you see some of... There was a lady competing this year, and I've seen people compete in wheelchairs, powered wheelchairs, whatever, time and time again. So I've got used to that now. That's okay. It's phenomenal. Scary as hell at times as well.
Oh, the first time I watched it in the UK, I was like, oh my God, this is a thing. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, some of them have got like the racing wheelchairs where the wheels turn in, that like they have on when they do basketball and things like that.
They probably are faster than me down a straight in those wheelchairs.
Absolutely. I think there's a speed limit. I don't know this for sure, but I think there's a speed limit. Yeah.
What, on the course?
I think they have to have them capped. They have to have it on the chairs. They have to have a speed limit applied.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like on the course, like they get just eliminated if they went too fast.
Yeah, well, they will, because I think it has to be on the chair. The chair has to be like limited. If you see on a lorry, this vehicle can only do 50 miles an hour. Okay.
God, that shows how fast it can go.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, I suppose, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise you could just turn it with like a 50cc engine in there and just bear around the course.
It's like those little motor scooters that they've had to put a speed limit on or something as well, isn't it? That's amazing.
But anyway, digression.
This
year there was a lady who I've never seen compete before. I think she competed for Germany, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And she was in a wheelchair, in a powered wheelchair, and she cued her dog by a voice box.
Oh, wow.
Because she couldn't speak, and she cued the voice box with her chin.
Oh my God.
And it was absolutely phenomenal. And
That's
she
insane.
hadn't got words, she'd got sounds. So by the end of the tournament, we'd worked out what her sound was for go or
wow. Yeah.
whatever. And,
That's incredible. Clever dog
it
as
was
well.
incredible. Oh, phenomenal. But yeah, by the time she finished the run, there was not a dry eye in the house.
No, I can imagine.
She had a standing ovation every single time.
And you're not going to get that anywhere else, are you? Like no other event. No. It's just that one.
No, even the judges were sort of in tears by the time she came across the finish line, and it was pretty incredible.
The judge forgets to mark it, can't see a missed dog walk because they're like crying their eyes
they're
out.
Cloudy. But yeah, that just the experience of seeing, I whinge, I'll go to a show and things don't suit me, some idiot put the dog walk in the middle of the course and I can't get around it, or the judge got in my way and we collided, or, there'll be something, the stones in the car park were too big and it exhausted me walking over them. There'll be something. And then I see people like that and I think, do you know what? I have got this so easy compared to some.
Well, it's the same,
it really is humbling.
I think everyone, even like the completely able bodies, like I've had a moan about something in a course, or, not even out loud, just to myself, do you know what I mean? Or I've been stressing a bit about something, or, in my head I've been sort of negatively thinking about something, and then you actually watch that and you think, what am I moaning about? Like, shut up.
Exactly. I'll let you in on a secret now. I've just been down in, I think, Buckinghamshire or Oxfordshire or somewhere, like 2 and a bit hours away, on a training day with 7. And it was the worst training day we've ever had.
Oh,
not
really?
because of the course, not because of the trainer, but we were just useless. I was like...
I was going to ask you about that at the end, actually, but...
Yeah, no, I've just done a 5-hour round trip to be utterly...
Oh, no.
I'm not going to swear because it's your podcast.
Oh, you can. We've had people, people.
Oh, that's fine. We were shit. We were just totally, totally shit. There wasn't a single part that we actually succeeded in.
Okay.
She hit one dog walk out of a million. Couldn't we? Just one of those complete train wrecks.
Yeah, one of those days.
And I was coming back up the motorway in the pouring rain with my fog lights on, not able to see anything, about to have a tantrum. And I just suddenly thought, like, yeah, but Sarah, you're, what am I now, 7, 8 weeks post surgery for a lung tumour.
Yeah.
Like,
just
this
a little
could have gone a very different way.
Yeah.
It could have gone. I'm stressing out because my dog couldn't get the hardest weave entry I've ever presented to her, or, she was missing her dog walks because she's taken 2 strides out. Now she's got some more confidence. And I'm stressing out about this. And actually... 7 weeks ago, I had a lung tumour removed that I don't need any more treatment for, or anything like that.
That's so true.
Just
puts it into perspective. That's it. Yeah. Exactly.
So now I'm like, oh well, drove 5.5 hours to be shit. Who cares? Let's
had a great
have some
time.
cake for
Actually, no, I
tea.
didn't. It was annoying, but still.
Nice people. Watching the other dogs.
It's more of a, think of it as a day out.
Really nice lunch. Yeah.
That's what I try and do at a show. I'm like, well, I had a day out, saw some of my friends, it's fine. Didn't come away with anything, but it's fine. It's worth
Nobody died.
Exactly.
It was fine.
And even like as well, thinking when Arrows had like a few of his injuries or something, and I physically couldn't even train or compete to have those bad days, and it was horrible. I was sat there thinking, oh, I wish I could go run him and him just be terrible, but him do it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember COVID and lockdown when all we wanted was a bad day at an agility show?
Yeah, literally. It was nice to have a little break to start with, and then we were like, oh, I'm bored now, I miss it. I actually really miss it.
Yeah, no,
but when you
I
have
didn't enjoy the break at all.
Yeah, when you have like a series of bad shows and then you think, actually, at least I'm having a series, at least agility is consistent, like, not the end of the world.
Yeah.
We'd be lost without it.
Absolutely.
Life feels
God, we totally digressed then again, didn't we?
That's the fun of a podcast, I suppose.
Yeah, you need like a buzzer to keep me on track.
No, it's fine, it's good. But yeah, it was just a favourite thing, and atmosphere, team spirit. I definitely agree with that from the years I was on it, 100%.
Team spirit.
And the coach was fun.
Oh, no, not the coach, not the coach.
I did feel a bit travel sick a few times, but apart from that, it's fun.
Yeah.
Long, but fun.
The whole thing, from the kind of it's normally about 3 or 4 in the morning, isn't it? The start on the first day. And, and from then until the midnight return home, maybe a week or 10 days later, the whole thing.
But even the actual days of the show, didn't you say, which, was it Italy you said, where it was maybe like 7:30 you were in the ring and then you didn't leave till nearly midnight?
Yeah. I think it was a Saturday. I think it was something like 7:30 course walking for the first event. And I think we left the arena at like 5 to midnight or something. And then we're back at 7:30 the next day.
So sleep non-existent. And you only get 3 runs, don't you, as well, over the course of it?
Yeah.
So one a day?
So one run, one a day. And they did it over 4 days this year for the first time.
Did you have a day off then?
And that helped. Yes. So everybody pretty much got a day off at some point.
Okay. Nice little spectating day.
Yeah, that was okay because we could have a beer with lunch then.
Yeah, what a treat.
Yeah, what a treat. But that was okay in some respects because it meant that we were finished by about 7 o'clock most days.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, very long days, but very worth it. So how do you prepare to compete at IMCA PAWC in the build-up to the event? Obviously, you didn't get to do that this year, but genuinely.
Yeah, I don't recommend open chest surgery.
Maybe something people should avoid.
No, don't go for that one.
Don't do that,
But thankfully, I mean, we've got KCI, one of the biggest shows,
100%,
is here. And it's on my doorstep. It's only 25 minutes down the road.
Perfect timing for prep.
So, that is give or take around 4 weeks before the event. So it's perfect to do that big event prep.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously with the climate, Italy was really hot. I think it was 38 degrees or something forecast. But it was also really hot here. If you remember, KCI was starting at 6, 7 in the morning. And,
that seems to happen a lot at that time of year. I suppose it's just summer, isn't it?
It's August, isn't it? Yeah, it's summer. So that was a big bit of prep for us, ticking off really big shows, busy shows, where you don't have a full complement of runs because we get into that routine of 4 or 5 runs in a day or whatever it is you do at a normal show. And then when you go over to PAWC, you've got 1 a day.
Yeah, that's true,
It's weird. And obviously at KCI, you might only have 2 or 3. So just doing 2 runs at KCI in 30-degree temperature is perfect, absolutely perfect prep. But then going to Italy to do essentially the same thing. But it really helps if we get a couple of shows like that just to make sure that like our warm-up routine and our cool-down routine and things like that are solid, because I don't want to get there and then find out that I can't warm my dog up properly when it's hot. I've exhausted them already, or I haven't warmed them up enough, or whatever. So that's a big part of it. And other than that, I just really focus on fitness. So mine swim, they do loads of free running just to make sure that they are fit and strong. Beyond that, once we get into sort of the last month, I don't train anything new. I just make sure we know what we know. So that we're not trying
confusion.
And we don't no heroics mid-course, just
not the time,
just
not
go
the
out
place.
and do what you do.
Absolutely. And then what about like training? Again, I suppose KCI is quite all right for it, but training sort of such an like chaotic atmosphere, because like I suppose KCI is quite a big atmosphere, but do you go to like other places or away from agility with your dogs that are really busy with like people and stuff like that?
So mine go loads of places anyway. The show lows, because they are a rare breed, they tend to get invited to like Discover Dogs and Griff's Discover Dogs and things on the Meet the Breed stand. So they get a different kind of hustle and bustle. Seven being a young Malinois, I was really conscious that she was going to be so well socialised. So she's done loads of like village fetes, country fairs. I've got a video of me and her doing some toy play next to a static engine from a Lancaster bomber, the big aeroplane, the really noisy one.
As you do.
There's one of those does the show circuit, and they fire them up and stuff. So I'm like, right, I'm just going to stand just there, just a little bit away, and and she literally fired up and her ears pricked and she looked and then she was like, Mum's got my ball.
I don't care about that.
Everybody else must have thought I was a lunatic.
But it makes perfect sense.
Well, it would to you and I. It doesn't to Mr. and Mrs. Jones that have popped to the 1940s weekend.
That is very true. They're probably like, why is there a lady and a dog right there?
Yeah, why is that crazy woman running around, like, tugging with a dog?
Yeah. They probably thought you were trying to get it off her or something.
Yeah, probably thought she was attacking me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet, like, well, I was about to say normal people. If, like, pet people see us, like, doing that with our dogs, they're probably thinking, what is that? Like, what even is that? Why would you do that? You know, because it's so normal,
Yeah,
That's so funny.
And I'm sure she won't mind me naming her, but Hayley Dixon, as she is now.
Yes,
with Piri, her absolutely stunning poodle.
Oh, I love
When
Piri.
she has done a few breed shows, she's worked so hard on Piri's confidence around agility. And
I've had a lot of
this, that, and the other.
conversations about seesaw confidence with her, so.
And she will go to a breed show, and there's Piri with all her top knots all done and a perfect, like, poodle groom. And she goes in the ring, she comes out, Piri did great. Hayley whips a tuggy toy out of her pocket, gets on the floor, and is just like ragging. And of course, all the show people are like,
what is going on?
What are you doing? And she's
so
just
funny.
like
When worlds
pushing
collide.
on her and roughing her up. The show
Probably
people
mortified,
are mortified. They absolutely are.
That's so funny.
But it's what's important to our dogs.
No, exactly. It's what keeps them happy, isn't it? So a lot of the event prep is more, it's not just the agility training and the course running and the skills. It's environment, climate, atmosphere, noise, stuff like that, which I think is, could be easily overlooked by a lot of people who are probably thinking, I need to do loads of agility on the lead up, but...
And, they might have to sit on a coach for 12 hours a day with 25 other dogs that they've never met before.
Yeah,
and,
it's like when Ethel had to sit in the crate next to Fling. And we had to put a towel down so they didn't see each other.
Yeah,
but
and
hotels
the coach is well organised and stuff like that. And we drove out this year, so Seb and Gambler obviously knew each other, but Stuart's Riggs was in Seven's crate, and then Seven was above the boys, and then Shrimpy was next door.
Wow.
Obviously, even though Seb and Jean knew each other, they couldn't see each other. Seb wasn't in her normal crate. Jean and Riggs travelled out to Italy together really nicely, so they're kind of acquaintances, and then Shrimpy just kind of slotted in with everybody, and they're so good. But of course, we've spent all this time since they were puppies. They've gone out to agility shows, they've been crated, they've travelled. My guys stop in loads of travel lodges. I should be sponsored by them.
Yeah, literally.
So just being away from home is quite normal to them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But
already
of course,
quite acclimatised.
Yeah, if it isn't, if you don't do multi-day camping shows or you don't stop in hotels with your dogs, it's a huge ask.
Yeah, no, definitely. Wow, wouldn't that be cool though? A travel lodge sponsorship. I could ask them to sponsor the podcast. Free hotels for every show. Amazing. So what is the most challenging aspect of competing abroad in your opinion? So not necessarily the event itself, just competing in another country.
Yeah, the travel, the long days, and obviously since Brexit, the paperwork, and you can't take your own food if you feed raw, and it's thankfully am I allowed to say I'm sponsored by Webster's Natural Dog Food?
Go for
Edit that out if I'm not.
Oh, no, go for it.
But yeah, Webster's thankfully do a couple of fish protein kibbles, so I can take those. But of course, for a lot of people that feed raw, they have to go out, they've got no food with them. So if the coach were to break down and, until we've stocked up with dog food, it can be a problem.
Yeah, mine have to go on semi-moist.
Yeah, but again, you can't take that with you if it's got meat in it because of Brexit.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's all the considerations like that. It's such a pain. It's such a faff.
And you have to be aware of it as well.
Part.
Like
you do.
way in advance. Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope Linda doesn't watch this. I accidentally smuggled a snout into Italy. Because I'd given it to Gambler.
That's so funny.
As we left Kent, as we left Linda's last year, I'd given it to him in his crate. Normally he munches through them in like minutes.
Yeah.
Just got on the coach. Coach is just moving, chucked it in, keep him quiet, settle him down. When we got into France, I sorted all his beds out in his crate and found it under a blanket. I was
That's so funny. Oops.
Oh, we've just illegally
broke
smuggled
the law.
this. Yeah.
That's so funny. I mean, if it was in his belly, it's still technically being smuggled in, just in his belly, so it's fine. It's fine.
Exactly.
Perfectly legal. But no, I think there's the climate, obviously, but that's part of your prep, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
And depending where you go as well, the climate can be very, very similar to here.
But yeah, the logistics are a massive thing. Like, obviously, when I went, I think, what was I in 2018? Young, anyway, like a child. And like, I just had to, my dad did most of it and my mum, you know, just helping me with because obviously I couldn't do that by myself. It was so confusing at that point. Like, I'd be better now, but especially if you're a bit younger and you don't have a clue, and well, no matter what age you are, it's just understanding it, isn't it? There's a lot to it.
Yeah, and very also hard. Like language as well. I mean, the Netherlands, pretty much everybody spoke English. In Italy, that wasn't quite so true.
Oh, really?
But, you know, we've got ways of ordering, you know, 4 beers, please, and can I get the bill? Yeah,
that's all you need.
And just point at what you think you want off the Chinese menu. And Google Translate is a lifesaver.
Yeah, because you can press speak it, can't you? So the phone speaks it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, but it is slightly unnerving, just like if you need anything out of the ordinary, not knowing where to go. Like you know, if you needed something for the dog or something from the vets, or
that's true.
It's slightly. I mean, chances are you won't need anything, but it is always in the back of your mind.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but it's again, it's all an adventure.
Yeah, exactly. That's something I've noticed as well at EOJ and stuff as well. Is all the other countries can talk to us in English, and we're like, we only speak English.
Yeah, we're so ignorant.
We're not very good, are we?
No, we're really not. And it is embarrassing, you know, when you've got friends on the German team come over and speak in perfect, better English than us. Yeah. And then off they go, and then there'll be some of the Italians come and have a chat, and it's like, this is quite embarrassing.
They probably learned to expect it from us, though. So
I think it's universally accepted
it's
that the
a
English
UK person.
Yeah.
That's funny. When you're doing your T-shirt swaps, they're like, I'm going to have to ask in English.
Yeah.
That's another one of my favourite things about events like that, the T-shirt swaps. I love it.
Yeah, do you know, funnily enough, I've just got caught up with the washing and everything else and putting things away, and I was like, oh, look. And I've put all of this year's T-shirts with last year's just to see, like, how many different countries I've got. And
it's cool, isn't it?
It is cool. And I never know what to do with them. Like, do I keep them? Do I wear them? Do I save them? Do I frame them?
Yeah.
So I got some cool ones this year.
I think I have more foreign clothes than my own clothes now, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah. I have had people, I got a Czech Republic gilet a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I have had people, like, when they've met me, say, "Oh, I didn't think you were English."
Oh yeah,
because obviously they'd seen me wearing it.
Yeah, I think someone thought I was from Switzerland.
Czech.
Yeah, something like that. I'm like, no, I wish I was, but
yeah.
So, what are your hopes for the world of Paragility going forward? So, where do you see the Paragility sort of movement going in the future?
Well, we fielded the biggest UK team I think that we've ever taken this year. So. That was brilliant. I can't. Oh God, Linda will kill me for getting the numbers wrong. I think there was something like 48 team members, which included the IMCA and the PAWC as well. So there was a lot of us paras.
That's a lot,
it was fab. So hopefully, just a good, healthy interest. In it. It's in Portugal next year, which is really far.
Oh yeah. What was it?
Which will obviously.
What was it? What did you say?
3,000 mile round trip.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's like 6 days of travel without anything else.
Yeah, so more than the actual event.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I think that'll put quite a few people off. But we have no domestic para competitions. There isn't a para class at a show or whatever. So it'd be nice if there were. I completely understand the logistics of it would be a nightmare.
Accessibility and stuff as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Venues,
and the way it's classified as well, because we're classified on handler ability or disability, not on dog size or anything like that. So Graham with his Schnauzer was competing against me and Gambler.
Yeah, that was it,
So we were on the same podium in the same event.
Which I did not realise that before this year.
Yeah, Krista's obviously like this big, and then Gambler's like a turbo donkey.
Yeah, like the size of Gambler's front leg.
not even, like maybe just his head.
Yeah.
So it's quite a complicated
thing to organise
system to anybody that doesn't know. If you're in it, if you're doing it, then
it makes sense.
It's perfectly fine. But I can understand why show organisers don't put anything on, and everybody's spread about a bit as well. So
I suppose it could start with like 1 or 2 classes at a show, and then maybe in the future a whole show for it. But again, it's probably.
I remember. I think it was God Manchester used to have a para class on their schedule.
Yeah.
I remember it being on and me not being able to go to the show. And then the first year I went to God Manchester, it wasn't on the schedule, and I was like,
oh, for God's sake, typical.
I'm a year too late, as per normal.
The irony.
But maybe more. If you are a show organizer and you are watching, then
get on it.
There you go. Pop it in the suggestion box.
Yeah. Something for everyone to consider, I suppose. No rush, but it's definitely getting bigger, I'd say, which is great.
Yeah, it is. Or even just a para award within a normal class. So like in a 1 to 7 class, some societies might place the obviously I compete at the BSDA show with with both of mine, but they have a highest place Belgian over several classes. So all the Belgian Shepherds that are entered compete for this one trophy. So maybe just doing results within results or something like that would be quite cool.
Probably easier to organise and sort out, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So what is your best piece of advice for those wanting to compete in Paragility?
Just do it. I think Nike have already got that. But if you don't currently compete in agility and you're worried because you just shuffle about or don't run much or struggle physically or whatever, just go and do it. Go to an agility show. You will see people that run like Summer Flipping Clark and people that shuffle about like me. There will be every variant of everything. I see quite a few ladies on scooters now competing as well. And, even people that have run a lot that are just getting a little bit old, dare I say it, and a little bit worn out, that slow down and do things differently. There's no reason why not.
Just having a go, isn't it? Yeah.
Do it. Just go and do it and have fun with your dog.
Yeah.
If you are already competing and you're interested in the PAWC, have a look. There's some articles on Agility Net. There's some older ones on there as well. Get in touch with Linda Croxford. She will be very pleased to hear from you. And get the application form, get that off to your doctor, and get the ball rolling.
Oh yeah, because you've got to get signed off, haven't you, to make sure you're eligible?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, that was the next question. What's your best piece of advice for Paragility handlers? So if they're already Paragility handlers and they want to do IMCA PAWC, obviously there's a lot to take into consideration before applying for that kind of event, but.
Yeah, there is loads, and like I say, Portugal next year. For me, it's I think a 3,000-mile round trip. Yeah. And that even, I travel up and down the country teaching and competing and whatnot anyway. I do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
And even for me, I'm kind of going,
yeah,
it's a long way.
Maybe not, yeah.
Yeah,
that makes
it's a
sense.
really long way. If I could fly, I'd be like...
Oh, yeah.
So I might just see if somebody else will take my dogs and I'll jump on a plane.
Yeah, if we could just have our dogs on our laps on the plane, that would be ideal, please. If that could be a new way to do it.
Can you imagine me with Gambler and a Malinois on the plane?
I think they'd need their own seats.
I think they would. 7 would sit in it perfectly. Gambler would just be like...
Gambler would be like, this isn't happening. Sitting still for the whole thing, not happening.
Not happening.
Bless him.
But yeah, just, if you're interested, just... Find out all the details. Do be realistic with yourself. I don't know whether I was a little bit stubborn this year Obviously, I knew exactly what to expect. I'd done the tournament twice before.
Yeah, that's true.
I know it's long days, it's uncomfortable hours, it's a lot of travelling, it's exhaustion, it's tears of every single
Emotion,
kind. I knew all of that, and I knew exactly what to expect. I knew roughly what the courses would be like.
But the first time is a lot.
So I think I was a little bit stubborn this time in believing I could go physically. And in hindsight, another week or two for recovery would have been nicer.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
But I was also mad at myself for putting myself in that position, and I was disappointed with myself because I couldn't give my best. And I think in hindsight, that's probably really important for people just to seriously think, can you physically and mentally do this? Because it's okay if you can't. Like, it's a big thing. There will be a time when it's in France or somewhere closer.
Maybe in the UK again.
Maybe, I don't think it will come back for a few years. I think there's a few countries to go yet.
Too recent,
and there was a few obviously missed out with COVID.
That's true.
But just be realistic with your expectations and your own abilities, and then there'll be no cause for disappointment or anger or anything like that.
No, that's great advice.
So once you've been realistic with yourself, just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just go do it.
Yeah, get your head right and then just do it.
And then do it.
Get on with it. Yeah. And I'm sure no one would regret it.
No, I certainly haven't. Certainly haven't.
Exactly.
I do sometimes think when you start paying for it, because it's all self-funded. So when the costs start coming in, I do always have that little moment of, oh my God, why am I doing this?
A lot of you do fundraising though, don't you, to help with that, like at shows and stuff, little sales and.
We did a cake sale at RVA this year and raised something like, I think it was about 400 and something pounds.
Wow. Agility people love cake, so you can't go wrong.
Exactly. I can't bake for cake. So I did the till and made things look pretty, and I made some flapjack and something safe. Louise McMahon made the most fantastic cakes, and there was a few other people made cakes as well. It's all of that as well that goes.
I suppose that helps add to the sort of team spirit as well. Doing those things leading up to it and makes it more of a whole event.
Yeah, and the key thing is even though you've got the IMCA and the PAWC, so if you like the able-bodied and the not able-bodied, it's one team. And that is,
exactly.
Like, there's no denying.
There's no separation
in
that sense.
No. And nobody could say, but it's not though, is it? Because it actually is. It really, really is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easy to forget which part of the team people are on.
Yeah, that's it.
Because there is no divide.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And you can compete. If you want to, you can do IMCA, can't you? Even if you qualify for PAWC, you just can't do both.
You can't do both.
Yeah,
you can't do both. And I'm not sure how the organisers would view it if I decided that next year I was going to try out for IMCA. I'm not sure whether they'd welcome me back into PAWC. I'm not sure about that, but you definitely can.
Maybe not swap between the two, but you can decide which one you want to go in as.
Yeah, it's like if you're a parahandler, you're a parahandler here. There is no classification.
Yeah.
So if you want to run in champ, you go and run in champ.
Oh, yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
You run in grade 2, you run in grade 2.
Yeah, makes sense.
There's absolutely no divide on the team, which is lovely.
It is amazing. Well, that is all of the questions. So thank you again for coming on the podcast.
No, thank you for having me.
So that was my conversation with Sarah all about the world of Paragility and the IMCA PAWC event. I really enjoyed that. That was super fun. I got on with Sarah so well and we always have such a giggle. That was a really funny episode, probably one of my funniest episodes to date. We had a right laugh and I really hope you found that useful. If there's any parahandlers watching or you know of any parahandlers, then, send this to them. Because I think that's really useful information. There's not a ton of information out there about Paragility, to be honest. I know before I tried out for IMCA PAWC, not realising that there was paras involved. I just thought, it's another international event. But since I've learned so much about Paragility, and you know, I didn't know it was a thing, and now I do. So I bet a lot of people still don't know it's a thing and it's a recognised organisation. So yeah, if you know someone who may be interested in doing agility and they're a para handler, or competing in agility and they're already doing agility with their dog, then yeah, send this to them. I think they could learn a lot. But I hope that really helped introduce everyone to the world of Paragility and make you all more aware of it. And also anyone that would like to try out for IMCA PAWC, I can say, as I've said to Sarah myself, as well as Sarah said in the episode, it is an amazing event, unlike any other. So I'd really recommend going for that, or at least looking into it, and just take everything she said into consideration. But yeah, I love Sarah, I love her dogs. Gambler and Seven are so cool. Her retired dog was so cool as well. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that. It was super fun. And with that, without further ado, you already know the drill. Please follow me on all of the socials to keep up to date with everything going on in my chaotic life. I will put those here on the YouTube video and down below in the description on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I always get that mixed up nearly. Remember to use my Huel link. Go back to the ad at the start of this episode if you missed it. That's amazing. You get some discount, free t-shirt, all the great things. And just make sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would mean the absolute world to me and helps keep this podcast going. I appreciate it so much. Keep sending me your topic ideas for future podcast episodes, whether that's solo, guest. If you want to come on the podcast, if you have an idea of something we can speak about, just get in touch. My DMs are always open for any suggestions, feedback, constructive criticism, I don't mind it, stuff like that. So keep interacting. I'm always on all of those platforms and I love hearing from you guys. So with that, as per usual, I will see you all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another episode of the Paws in Pursuit podcast. Bye guys.